We welcome you all to the 5th McGill commemoration of the victims of the Quebec City Mosque shooting of 2017. This is a virtual event, but I am personally on McGill campus on the unceded territory of the Ganagahaga, on Jugjaga, or as most of us know it, Montreal. My name is Ihab Lutaif. I am an IT manager at the Department of Electrical and Computer Engineering at McGill, and I'm also a founding member of Muslim Awareness Week, which is held annually during the last week of January to break barriers and build bridges between society and Muslims who are an integral part of it. This is the 4th time Muslim Awareness Week is held, not only in Montreal, but also all across Quebec. This year is the first commemoration since January 29th was declared as National Day Against Islamophobia by the federal government. This gives us all a chance to take part and in a practical way, take steps to eliminate Islamophobia, as well as all forms of racism and discrimination. We will hear remarks and words from many speakers today. So without further ado, let me welcome Professor Suzanne Fortier, Principal and Vice Chancellor of McGill University.
Merci, Ihab. Et bienvenue à vous tous. Au nom de l'Université McGill, j'aimerais vraiment vous remercier de votre présence aujourd'hui et plus particulièrement nos distingués invités qui se joignent à nous pour honorer la mémoire des personnes qui ont perdu la vie à la suite de la fusillade survenue au Centre culturel islamique de Québec le 29 janvier 2017. This marks the 5th anniversary of this horrific act of violence rooted in hatred and intolerance. We gather today to honor the memory of those lost, as well as those injured, and to offer our support to their families and their friends. The memory of Khaled, Azedine, Abubakar, Mamadou, Abdelkrim, and Ibrahima reminds us of the importance of fighting discrimination and intolerance. This tragic anniversary also reminds us of the need to reaffirm in our own community at McGill our ongoing commitment to the values of mutual respect and inclusion, and ensure that we all live up to these values. Notre communauté est réunie aujourd'hui afin d'honorer la mémoire des disparus et exprimer notre solidarité envers ceux et celles qui portent encore les blessures physiques et psychiques de cet acte de violence insensée. Ensemble, nous élevons nos voix contre l'intolérance et nous réaffirmons haut et fort nos idéaux de respect, d'ouverture et d'inclusion. Encore une fois, merci d'être des nôtres aujourd'hui.
Thank you, Professor Fortier. And now I will invite Professor Chris Manfredi, McGill Provost, to say a couple of words.
Thank you, Ab. Good afternoon, everyone. Bon après-midi. I would like to thank all of you for joining us today to remember the victims of the crime that occurred at the Centre culturel islamique de Québec on January 29th, 2017. McGill has marked this day of commemoration each year since this terrible event. Some of you were also present for a ceremony in June 2018, during which a tree was planted on our lower downtown campus in memory of the victims. This tree is an ironwood tree. Ironwood trees have the hardest and densest wood of any species in Canada. This is a symbol of our community's unwavering commitment to openness, belonging, and inclusion. Par ces gestes, nous rendons hommage aux victimes de cette tragédie indicible et nous témoignons de l'engagement profond de McGill à l'égard d'un campus inclusif où la diversité est accueillie à bras ouverts et mise en valeur. Notre université réunit des gens d'horizons divers et de toute origine, identité et croyances. Cette diversité est une force et elle nourrit l'excellence à McGill. Although today is a day of sadness across Quebec and Canada, we find comfort and strength as a united community. For this reason, I appreciate our coming together today to remember those lost and to show our solidarity with their loved ones and with the entire Canadian Muslim community. Thank you, merci.
Thank you very much, Professor Manfredi. We have been also going to join us some external guests who are very happy to be with us. The first of which couldn't be with us in person, Monsieur Benoit Charette, the Minister responsable de la lutte contre le racisme, is not going to be able to be with us in person, but he sent us a recorded video. So I will ask my colleague Laurie to play the video that we received from Minister Charette.
Il y a 5 ans, le sinistre attentat de la Grande Mosquée de Québec secouait tout le Québec. Ce triste anniversaire est l'occasion de se recueillir à la mémoire des 6 personnes décédées lors de cette tragédie du 29 janvier 2017. Ce souvenir s'accompagne d'une pensée spéciale pour leurs familles, amis, collègues et proches qui ont subi la perte d'un être cher. En mon nom personnel et au nom du gouvernement du Québec, je désire exprimer ma solidarité envers toutes les familles et personnes qui ont souffert d'une façon ou d'une autre à la suite de cet acte horrible. Elles ont fait preuve d'une résilience exceptionnelle afin de poursuivre leur vie bousculée par ce drame et ces personnes ont toute mon admiration. La tuerie de la Grande Mosquée de Québec a touché profondément tous les citoyens du Québec. Sa violence gratuite et l'expression de haine qu'elle a traduite ont heurté de front notre société. La nation québécoise se fonde sur des valeurs de respect, de justice et d'égalité entre tous les citoyens sans égard à l'origine ethno-culturelle ou à la religion. Apprendre à mieux nous connaître et à vivre ensemble revêt une importance fondamentale. Individuellement et collectivement, cette ouverture permet de renforcer nos liens et d'en créer de nouveaux. Elle permet de déconstruire les jugements et les idées préconçues que nous nourrissons les uns envers les autres, parfois inconsciemment. Alors que nous commémorons cette terrible tragédie, j'invite tous les Québécoises et les Québécois à saisir ce moment pour établir un dialogue durable et constructif entre les diverses communautés afin de bâtir tous ensemble une société meilleure, exempte de préjugés, de haine, de discrimination et d'intolérance. C'est ainsi que nous pourrons vivre dans un Québec fort et uni.
Thank you, Laurie, and a virtual thank you to Minister Charette. I will move on now to remarks from Ville de Montréal Councillor, Madame Alia Hassan Cornol, Conseiller de Ville du District Maisonneuve-Longuepoint, and also member of the Executive Committee and Associate of the Member Designated Councillor in Ville-Marie Borough. Alia, please.
Thank you, Hab, and good afternoon, everyone. Mrs. Fortier, Mr. Manfredi, academic community, and their students. You know what? I had a whole speech prepared, but I'm going to speak from the bottom of my heart because it's an important day for me. Tomorrow is an important day, and I'm the first Arabic woman from Muslim background and Christian tradition as well, sitting in council from the history of the city of Montreal. And of course, as a lot of people in Quebec, I remember that day of January 29 exactly with precision. I remember exactly what I was doing and the pain I had, the pain the Muslim community suffered and the Quebec suffered. But I also remember the good moment in this pain, and especially the one in Parc Extension, this gathering where millions of Montrealers were together, lights on their hand from different backgrounds, even Indigenous people were with us, and that was everything that Montreal has to offer. The most beautiful thing, its diversity, its resilience, and its solidarity. And those actions that we lived on that day, I really want to protect them. And I want to speak to the students of McGill. And remember, I want you guys to remember to continue on acting, to continue on being involved in politics, in your communities, in your associations, because that's exactly what we need right now. We need people from diverse backgrounds standing up, going into institutions, getting involved, and that's how we're gonna fight racism, Islamophobia. We need to see the world through different lenses, and McGill is an amazing opportunity to reach out those goals and to be together, to have people like me being able now to join those institutions, being able to represent the community and make sure we act on finding solutions, on fighting Islamophobia and racism. This is very important. So not only we need to remember the victims, but we need to keep continue on acting. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Alia, and thank you for the words from the heart. It's always appreciated when you put aside your notes and speak from the heart. Thank you very much. And now we are going to hear from some past and present McGill students. We will start by remarks from Riyad Muribi, representing the McGill Muslim Alumni Society. And I have to say that the McGill Muslim Alumni Society have been very active in the last couple of years. And I will mention them again before the end of these proceedings because they have contributed to something very meaningful in the memory of the CCIQ. So please, Riyad, go ahead.
Thank you, Ihab. It's been our pleasure to have been of service in any way that we can. In the name of God, the compassionate, the merciful, today is a day of remembrance, a day to reflect and question and recommit. 5 years ago, we were all shaken by an unspeakable expression of hate and prejudice. And the tragedy of such acts of hate is that they not only hurt their victims, naturally, but they also destroy their perpetrators. In some unique way, discrimination has this effect of harming everyone. And so those who promote it, profit off it, and propagate it, they seem to forget that no society, no great and noble society has ever allowed itself to be consumed by hate. And so we must not forget. And we must take this moment to remember that in this province and in this country, hate is not our way, and discrimination is not who we are, and division is not our future. And so I invite myself first and foremost, and you all today, to remember what values we truly believe in, and to commit in promoting the highest expression of these values on all of our interactions at all levels of society. Our Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessings be upon him, teaches us, you will not have faith until you love each other. So on behalf of the McGill Muslim Alumni Society, I express my condolences to all the families of the victims of this tragedy. May God have mercy on them, and may he guide us to act with the noblest of character and strive to stop such a thing from ever happening again. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Riyad. Now to the McGill Muslim students from both associations, the Muslim Student Association and the Thaqalain Muslim Association at McGill. We will hear the names of the victims, but first let me introduce on behalf of the two associations, Muhammad Yusuf Bunouina, the MSA president.
May peace, God's mercy, and blessings be upon you all. I would like to thank the organizers for inviting the Muslim and Thaqalain student associations to the commemoration. It is heartwarming to see many familiar names who have consistently supported our community, and it is beautiful to see many new faces as well. However, throughout past commemorations, similar things were constantly expressed and mentioned, yet discrimination and hate towards Muslims do not seem to be declining, as we have seen last summer, when a man full of hatred rammed his truck into a family of Muslims in London, Ontario. Despite all our efforts, ignorance and Islamophobia are still rampant. So I would like for all of us, starting today, to continue going the extra mile in eliminating the ignorance and Islamophobia in our society. Whether you are in the highest levels of government or just a first-year student, I implore you to make a conscious effort to educate those around you. And if you feel that you lack any knowledge yourself, you are always welcome to speak to our community and clarify any misconceptions you may have. Muslim clubs, mosques, or even your Muslim friends and co-workers, we are all here. So please do not hesitate to reach out to us and ask. We are more than happy to help, and we hope you help too. Now Muslim students will state the names of the victims of the massacre.
Assalamu alaikum, peace be upon you. The first victim, Ibrahima Bari, died at 39 years old, leaving behind a widow and 4 young orphans. Ibrahima was an IT in his local community. Of their family back in their home village in Guinea.
Second person was Abdul Karim Hassan, died at 41 years old, leaving behind a widow and 3 young orphans. Abdul Karim was a computer analyst with the Quebec government. People described him as a man full of joy, love, and laughter.
The third person was Khalid Belkacemi, died at 60 years old, leaving behind a widow and 3 orphans. Professor Belkacemi was a soil sciences and food engineering professor at Université Laval. His close friends described him as a good father, always looking out for his children.
The fourth person was Mamadou Tanubari. He died at 42 years old, leaving behind a widow and 2 orphans. Mamadou was an accounting technician in Sainte-Foy. People close to him described him as generous, loyal, patient, welcoming, and kind. He died while starting to raise funds to build 2 wells in his community in Guinea.
Abubakar Sabti died at 44 years old, leaving behind a widow and 2 young orphans. He worked 2 jobs as a pharmacy technician and a night shift worker at a poultry plant. He was said to have always helped newcomers getting their first apartments, cars, and papers, always devoting his time to those in need.
Azzeddin Sufyan died at 57 years old, leaving behind a widow and 3 orphans. Azzeddin was a geologist and was an owner of a butchery in Sainte-Foy. Azzeddin always extended his generosity to new immigrants and those who needed it within Quebec City. On January 29, 2017, Azzeddin died by charging at the shooter, sacrificing his life, protecting the others. And for the unmentioned victims, this massacre has left behind 6 widows, 14 orphans, most of them young, 19 seriously injured worshippers, and a community in pain. We will now observe a moment of silence in memory and prayer for all the victims of January 29th, 2017.
We thank the McGill Muslim students for putting a human face on the names that we have heard so many times. And I echo what Mohammed just said. There are many, many victims. Some of them we know by names, by the relationship to the CCIQ, and many others who were indirect victims of that heinous act. I will now invite Professor Michel Hartman, the director of the Institute of Islamic Studies at McGill, to share her thoughts with us.
Thanks, Ihab, and thanks to all the students. I find it very difficult to speak just after the students spoke, so I apologize. It's very nice, though, to see everybody, even though we're here virtually. My name is Michel. I'm the director of the Institute of Islamic Studies at McGill. And I've been invited again this year on this very sad 5th anniversary to say a few words. And I wanted to extend our Institute's support and solidarity, first and foremost, to the families and the loved ones of the 6 men murdered in the mosque in Quebec City, as well as to the entire community of the CCIQ. We hold this community in our thoughts, especially today and tomorrow, the anniversary, but also all throughout the year. The impact of the tragedy, we have to remember, is felt not just on January 29th once a year, but all year round. The after effects of this terrible night, of course, also have a larger impact, as people have already said just now. The tragic event affected all of us in Quebec deeply, and this is certainly true in our institute, which is a space for Muslims and non-Muslims that is dedicated to research, teaching, learning, and sharing about all of the richness, complexity, and the multifaceted nature of Islam, both here in Quebec, but also all over the world. The Institute of Islamic Studies continues our steadfast rejection of all forms of racism and Islamophobia and our commitment to fighting them in our local communities and beyond. So in this vein, I wanted to offer an open invitation from now to everyone, please to follow our events in the Institute of Islamic Studies. Of course, they're virtual right now, but indirectly and directly, we do a lot of this work. We have a yearly talk that we instituted since 5 years ago for fighting, that we devote to fighting anti-Muslim racism. It's coming up on March 24th. We'll hold a panel discussion about Loi 21, Law 21. So as we use this anniversary to commemorate the lives of the men who passed away 5 years ago, I hope we can also use it as a moment to pledge ourselves to a new and renewed ways to battle the ever-present prejudice and discrimination surrounding us to this day, so that we never, ever again have to organize these kinds of gatherings and we can work together to imagine better futures. Thanks very much.
Thank you, Michel. Thank you very much. I will now invite our last speaker, but before I invite her, I want to go back to the McGill Muslim Alumni Society and their contribution. Many of us try to create positive out of the injury, and McGill established through generous donations of many people an award to be given annually to a student who would contribute to building bridges and improving the integration of Muslims in society. And this award was made possible and perpetual by a strong campaign that was led by the McGill Muslim Alumni Society. The awardees of this award over the past years were all really remarkable women. They were all women just by chance. It's not limited to women, but by chance they were all women, which is in itself a very strong signal. And this year's awardee is no less than any of the others. She is somebody that I personally have worked with over many years before even she came to McGill, I believe before even she was in university. So I'm very happy and pleased to invite Sarah Abubakar, this year's CCIQ Memorial Award winner, to share her thoughts with us. Sarah.
Thank you. Assalamu alaikum, everyone. Peace be upon you all. Last November, on our trip to Quebec City, to Sainte-Foy, actually, my colleague and I went to the Quebec City Mosque where the shooting took place, to meet with the families, as we try to do every single year, and to meet with the board. As we were passing by a room, there was a class taking place and a man was teaching kids Quran. One of the board members told me that this man was shot in the stomach during the attack, but he made it. I think that this is a reminder that regardless of hate, we're still here and we will be here spreading love and kindness no matter what. And we will get back on our feet every single time. It's been 5 years since the despiteful shooting of the Quebec City Mosque. 5 years ago, and every single year, ever since, we experienced feelings of anger, unsafety, but also inexplicable pain. January 29th, 2017, both tragic and mournful, has been a difficult day for Muslims, and it will always be. I'm grateful to be among you all today, and I'm extremely humbled and appreciative to be this year's recipient of McGill University's Centre Culturel Islamique de Québec Award. But as much as I'm grateful to be the recipient, I can't help but think of this award is a reminder of the presence of Islamophobia in our society and in Canada, and that we still have a lot of work to do in order to eradicate this kind of hate. As we mourn in this period, let us remember that we lost other Muslims in Canada to Islamophobia throughout these past 5 years. It's terrible, and as a society, we can do better. In the Muslim community, we work tirelessly to protect our own and to make sure that we restore this feeling of safety that we find ourselves so distant from every single time one of us is a victim of Islamophobia. But we can't do it alone. We shouldn't feel like we are doing this work alone. But regardless, and although hope alone is not enough, we must remain hopeful, because without hope, we can't keep going. May this anniversary be one where each one of us reflects on what we're doing and what more we can do to make our society a better, welcoming place for everyone. Thank you.
Thank you, Sarah, and thank you for your words. And I know that you put your money where your mouth is, so I really appreciate that about you. And as so many people did say today, we need a lot of work to eliminate the hate, the racism, the discrimination that exists in our society. And I will venture to say, not only against Muslims. Society will be healthy only when all its citizens feel safe, when everybody feels equal and respected. Yesterday was a Holocaust Remembrance Day. Tomorrow is the anniversary of the shooting in Quebec City. We need to work hard. We need to work hard to make sure that suffering stops for communities, for individuals, for everybody. And again, it's only by hard work and by putting our hands together and hearts together and openness that we will be able to achieve this. Thank you very much, all, everybody who attended, not only those who spoke. Thank you very much for your presence here. And hopefully when we meet next year again, we will have better news. We'll be feeling better when we share this commemoration a year from now. Thank you all, and God bless you.